They created man according to the Sumerian text. They created Adam and Eve. How interesting that the Bible will echo the story, but talk about it in terms of God.
Centuries before the pyramids rose, the ancient Sumerians had built a world so advanced that modern experts are still struggling to understand how they did it.
They've been translated, and they tell exciting stories about how gods intermingled with human beings and actually had a hand in the creation of human beings. Whether or not it's just mythology, or if it's fact, no one really knows.
Buried beneath layers of time are riddles involving strange artifacts, impossible knowledge, and stories carved into stone that hint at origins beyond anything history class ever taught us.
There's a Sumerian tablet that actually shows the Tree of Life, flanked by divine beings. You can see here the Anunnaki on each side.
Archaeologists continue to uncover clues, yet each answer seems to spark a dozen new questions.
When the Sumerian gods, the Anunnaki, realized the toll it was taking to mine the gold themselves, they decided to fashion a worker being, a slave to mine the gold for them.
Scholars remain baffled by these puzzling finds. So, what secrets did this mysterious civilization leave behind that still defy every explanation today? Number 10. The Great Ziggurat of Ur. In the southern stretch of present-day Iraq, the Great Ziggurat of Ur rises like a silent witness to a civilization that once mastered the impossible. Built in the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, within the bustling city of Ur, this massive stepped pyramid was more than a monument. It was a message carved into the earth, a symbol of faith, power, and mystery crafted during the 3rd millennium BC. Its base stretched an impressive 64 meters in length and 46 meters in width, yet its original height has been lost to centuries of wind, war, and shifting sands. What remains is a structure shaped by mud brick at its core and protected by a shell of fired bricks, engineered to survive the elements and preserve the sacred world it once held. The story of its construction begins with King Ur-Nammu of Ur's 3rd dynasty, whose vision was later completed under the rule of his son, King Shulgi. Together, they shaped a monument that anchored the city's administrative and spiritual life. At its peak stood a shrine dedicated to the moon god Nanna, an earthly home crafted for a celestial power. A chosen girl served as the deity's companion in a secluded chamber, while a nearby kitchen supplied offerings meant for divine consumption. Around the base, storerooms, priestly quarters, and a ceremonial palace pulsed with daily activity, forming a sacred complex that governed both ritual and rule. For centuries, the ziggurat faded from memory, its grandeur swallowed by time. Only in the 19th century, when European explorers unearthed Ur's forgotten treasures, did its story reawaken, stirring awe and debate. Some scholars argue that it served as a temple, while others see it as an astronomical instrument aligned with celestial events. Another theory imagines it as a cosmic mountain, a bridge between heaven and earth. Yet, despite the studies, its true purpose remains unanswered, deepening the very mystery that still draws archaeologists toward its shadow. But has the ziggurat hide a secret even scholars overlooked? What shocking truth might the king list reveal next? Keep watching. Number 9. The Sumerian king list. As the Great Ziggurat casts its long shadow across the sands of ancient Ur, another relic rises from that same mysterious world, one that does not point upward, but instead pulls us deep into the past. The Sumerian king list, a simple-looking record of rulers and reigns, becomes far more unsettling once its details are examined. On the surface, it appears to be a straightforward timeline of kings, dynasties, and cities. Yet beneath that calm exterior lies a puzzle that has challenged scholars for more than a century. The mystery began in ancient Nippur, where Hermann Hilprecht uncovered the first known copy, a 4,000-year-old cuneiform tablet. Since then, 18 additional versions have been found, most from the later Isin dynasty. The most remarkable of them, the Weld Blundell prism, now in Oxford's Ashmolean Museum, carries a continuous narrative from the antediluvian rulers to the 14th king of Isin. Believed to have once spun on a rod for easier reading, the prism feels less like an artifact and more like a doorway into a world where myth and history lived side by side. Its most provocative detail lies in the impossible reign lengths of the earliest kings. According to the list, 8 pre-flood rulers, figures like Alulim and Alaljar, reigned for tens of thousands of years. Their names appear alongside legendary figures such as Etana, Lugalbanda, and Gilgamesh, blurring the boundary between memory and myth. Some scholars see symbolism, others suspect mistranslations, and a few believe the text reflects ancient beliefs about divine rulers or cyclical time. Complicating matters is the list's deliberate blend of verified kings and mythic ones, possibly a political strategy to give later dynasties divine legitimacy. Its echoes of the biblical flood narrative deepen the intrigue, ensuring that the king list remains a crossroads where belief, power, and history collide. And as the king list intertwines myth and reality, one woman's rise shatters tradition. What secret power allowed her to defy centuries of male rule? Stay glued. Number 8. Power of Sumerian women. Amid the mysteries of the king list, the role of Sumerian women emerges as both remarkable and unexpected. Unlike many ancient civilizations, Sumerian society granted women legal rights and protections that were far ahead of their time. Women could own property, manage businesses, and, in certain cases, request divorce, even while remaining under the authority of fathers or husbands. These rights reveal a society that recognized women as active contributors rather than silent observers. Religion amplified their influence. Around 2300 BCE, Enheduanna, daughter of King Sargon of Akkad, served as high priestess in Ur and is now considered one of the world's first named authors. Her hymns to Inanna, full of devotion and poetic depth, demonstrate that women could hold spiritual authority and shape early belief systems. Yet much about the daily lives of ordinary women remains hidden, with each discovery only hinting at their untold stories. Then there is Kubaba, whose name boldly appears on the king list around 2500 BCE in Kish, breaking the pattern of male rulers. Not born into power, she earned it, establishing a dynasty that lasted a century. Her reign was structural and enduring, not merely symbolic, stabilizing the city-state and leaving a legacy that challenges assumptions about gender in early civilizations. The stories of Enheduanna, Kubaba, and countless unnamed women form a quiet but profound thread in Sumerian history, a reminder that even in the grand tales of kings and conquests, the influence of women shaped the very foundation of one of humanity's earliest civilizations. And as the shadows of Arata emerge, what hidden truths lie beneath its ruins, and who truly controlled its lost wealth and power? Number 7. Lost City of Arata. From the rise of Kubaba in Kish to the shifting power of Sumer's earliest cities, the story of Mesopotamia leads us to one of its most enduring mysteries, the lost city of Arata. Mentioned in 3rd millennium BC, Sumerian texts, including the Epic of Gilgamesh and the Lugalbanda tales, Arata is described as a distant, affluent metropolis, whose wealth in rare metals, gemstones, and skilled crafts rivaled the famed city of Uruk. Yet, unlike Ur, Kish, or Lagash, Arata leaves no confirmed ruins, foundations, or inscriptions, existing only in the shadowy space between myth and reality. Scholars have proposed locations across the Iranian plateau, noting ties to ancient Elam, the Caucasus, the Armenian highlands, and even the Indus Valley. Each site offers tantalizing hints, artifacts, settlements, or traces of trade routes, but none provide definitive proof of the city's existence. This uncertainty fuels debate. Was Arata a tangible city buried beneath layers of time, or a symbolic creation imagined by Sumerian poets to elevate their own society against a worthy rival? The texts portray Arata with a blend of diplomacy, conflict, and myth, a city that feels both real and dreamlike. Even as archaeologists uncover nearby settlements, Arata remains elusive, a silent enigma at the edge of history. Every discovery raises the same haunting question. How much of Arata was fact, and how much was the Sumerians' vision of a lost, legendary rival? Its mystery endures, a testament to a civilization whose stories refuse to yield all their secrets. So, could Arata's hidden truth rewrite everything we thought we knew about Sumer, or is it a legend deliberately shrouded in deception? Stay with us. Number 6. The Epic of Gilgamesh. From the fading echoes of Arata's forgotten stones, the journey moves deeper into one of the most powerful narratives ever recorded. A story carved across 3,000 lines of poetry and strengthened by centuries of retelling. The Epic of Gilgamesh, a monumental Sumerian masterpiece, follows a king who steps beyond the limits of ordinary men. In the poem, Gilgamesh is portrayed like a demigod, fierce, relentless, gifted with extraordinary strength. Yet this is where the mystery tightens its grip. Scholars widely believe he was not just a symbol, but a real ruler who once governed the ancient city of Uruk. His name appears clearly on the Sumerian king list, and inscriptions credit him with building Uruk's mighty defensive walls and restoring a temple dedicated to the goddess Ninhil. These clues suggest that the legendary hero, the man who journeyed into forests and battled monstrous forces in search of immortality, may have been shaped by the life of an actual fifth king of Uruk, his deeds magnified over generations until myth and history fused into one. But Gilgamesh's story opens the door to another ancient mystery, the Anunnaki. These celestial beings, described in Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian, and Assyrian mythology, appear throughout the epic figures like Enkidu, Ishtar, and Utu move between worlds, revealing a belief system in which divine forces walked alongside humanity. The term Anunnaki, meaning princely offspring, refers to the children of Anu, the supreme sky god, and Ki, the earth goddess. They were believed to shape civilization itself, guiding order, justice, and the rhythms of nature, yet their true identity remains a contested puzzle. Some scholars see them as symbolic representations of cosmic forces. Others argue they were legendary rulers elevated into divine status. And then there are the more controversial theories, suggesting extraterrestrial influence on Sumerian technology and culture. Ideas fueled by unexplained artifacts and the epic's vivid descriptions of beings descending from the heavens. Even the ruins of ancient Sumer offer strange clues. Unusually preserved bodies with features that spark debate, and statues whose protective lenses resemble modern sunglasses. Each discovery adds another layer to a mystery that refuses to settle, leaving us to wonder how much of the ancient world we truly understand, and what parts remain deliberately obscured by time. Now, what secrets lie hidden in these eerie relics, and could they reveal truths about the Sumerians that challenge everything we thought we knew? Keep watching. Number 5. The drink that bound civilization. As the legends of Gilgamesh echo through ancient Uruk, another thread of Sumerian life emerges, one far more ordinary on the surface, yet powerful enough to shape the identity of an entire civilization. The same people who engineered writing, carved laws into tablets, and invented the plough also nurtured a quieter masterpiece: beer. Their brilliance stretched from grand innovations to the simple rituals that filled their daily lives, revealing a culture that understood both the weight of knowledge and the comfort of joy. Archaeologists uncovered this truth through clay seals dated between 2600 and 2350 BC, each one showing scenes of men and women gathered in bright banquet halls, sharing thick, frothy beer from long communal straws. These images confirm that beer was not just a drink to the Sumerians, it was a social event, a binding force, a moment of celebration in a world that often demanded discipline and survival. Research shows that the Sumerians were the first true brewers, refining their methods as early as the 4th millennium BC. Somehow, without the tools or chemistry we rely on today, they managed to create a barley-based brew so dense and hearty that it required a specially crafted filtering straw to sip. But the appeal was never just taste. To the Sumerians, beer was nourishment, something that warmed the body, softened the burdens of labor, and, as they believed, brought a joyful heart and a contented liver. Their devotion grew so deep that they honored a goddess, Ninkasi, whose very essence represented the craft of brewing. Songs written in her praise spoke of the seed placed in the earth, nurtured until it transformed into a drink of life and comfort. To think that one of humanity's earliest civilizations mastered such brewing skill surprises many today. But for the Sumerians, it was part of their legacy, an inheritance that stretched across millennia and still lingers in the rituals of our modern world. And it is here, in this blend of myth, innovation, and simple human pleasure, that the Sumerian story gains its most human note, reminding us that even the builders of walls and epics paused, gathered, and raised a cup to life. And what hidden paths and secret currents did the Sumerians navigate, and could these forgotten roots reveal a truth no historian expected? Stay tuned. Number 4. The roads and rivers that carried civilization. As the echoes of Sumerian festivals fade, another layer of their world rises into view. One built not on myths or ritual alone, but on movement, negotiation, and astonishing reach. For a land burdened by scarcity, with little timber, stone, or mineral resources, ancient Mesopotamia somehow became the birthplace of one of humanity's earliest and most complex commercial networks. It stretched across deserts, mountains, and seas, revealing a civilization determined to survive and to connect. At the heart of this network stood Dilmun, the island we now know as Bahrain. To the Sumerians, it was far more than a distant shore. Dilmun was a lifeline. Its rich stores of copper made it essential, but its value did not stop there. Through Dilmun flowed gold and diamonds arriving from Oman and the far reaches of the Indus Valley, turning it into a glittering hub of trade and diplomacy. Yet the Sumerians' ambition pulled them even farther. Captivated by the deep blue glow of lapis lazuli, they sent merchants across vast distances, traveling all the way to the rugged lands of Afghanistan to secure the gemstone that would one day adorn temples, idols, and royal ornaments. Their need for cedarwood pushed them north to Anatolia and west toward Lebanon, crossing treacherous terrain in search of goods their homeland could not provide. Sumerian records even hint at ancient trading partners called Magan and Meluha, names that many scholars believe correspond to Egypt and Ethiopia. If true, their trade routes were not just large. They were extraordinary, mapping an economic world far wider than many imagined. And yet, for all we know, a quiet uncertainty still hangs over their legacy. Countless routes remain unconfirmed, countless exchanges unrecorded. The Sumerians built a trading empire that reshaped early civilization, but the full story of how they achieved it remains scattered across fragments, waiting for historians to uncover what truly connected their world. But could the very brilliance that built their empire also hold the secret to its sudden, unexplained disappearance? Number 3. The vanishing of civilization built on genius. As the echoes of Sumerian trade, art, and belief fade into the distance, the greatest mystery emerges from the silence. How did one of humanity's first advanced civilizations simply disappear? For centuries, historians and archaeologists have tried to piece together the final chapter of a society that once mastered agriculture, mathematics, monumental architecture, and the world's earliest writing system. Yet, by the close of the 3rd millennium BCE, that brilliance began to fracture. the rise of powerful rivals reshaped the political landscape. Under Sargon of Akkad, the expanding Akkadian Empire conquered Sumerian city-states and forged what many consider the first true empire in history. With this came a profound shift in authority. Sumer's once mighty cities, from Uruk to Lagash, slowly lost autonomy. Later forces only deepened the decline. The third dynasty of Ur and the early Babylonian Empire continued to erode Sumer's influence, absorbing territories and reshaping cultural identities. Language, too, became a casualty. As political control shifted, the Sumerian tongue and its cuneiform script gradually faded, replaced by Akkadian and later Assyrian and Babylonian dialects. With each passing generation, the original voice of Sumer grew quieter. Internal conflicts added to the collapse. City-states battled each other for water, land, and power, creating waves of instability that struck at the very foundations of their society. Environmental pressures and resource struggles only worsened the turmoil. What remains is a complex riddle, a civilization undone not by a single blow, but by a slow, layered unraveling. And as researchers continue to uncover fragments of this lost world, the final truth still waits, buried beneath the sands of ancient Mesopotamia. Could these mysterious symbols carved in stone reveal a hidden truth about Sumer's collapse? Or do they conceal a secret no one has yet deciphered? Number 2. Symbols carved in stone. As the story of Sumer's vast trade networks fades into the background, another clue to their world emerges. Small, cylindrical objects that carry secrets far larger than their size. These ancient Sumerian cylinder seals, carved from stone, glass, or ceramic, date back as early as 3500 BC, placing them at the very dawn of Sumerian civilization. On the surface, they served simple, practical purposes, marking ownership, sealing containers, and verifying documents. But the more archaeologists study them, the clearer it becomes that these objects hold mysteries the Sumerians never explained. Their surfaces are crowded with scenes, mythology, rituals, celebrations, battles, banquets, and daily life, carved with a level of detail that feels almost impossible for the era. Deities, humans, animals, plants, and sacred symbols appear side by side, forming patterns so complex that even now, decoding them often leads to more questions than answers. 3 themes dominate the imagery: contests, feasting, and religion, each revealing a glimpse of how the Sumerians saw their world and their gods. Yet the greatest puzzle lies not only in the designs, but in the craftsmanship itself. The precision suggests tools and techniques far more advanced than what historians expected from the 4th millennium BC. And their widespread discovery, across Mesopotamia, Anatolia, and the Levant, reveals a web of exchange that connected cultures long before written records made those relationships clear. Scholars still debate where these seals truly began, Syria perhaps, or Sumer itself, but their distribution shows one undeniable truth. These tiny artifacts played a powerful role in shaping social, economic, and spiritual life. And as more seals come to light, so will the answers hidden within their carved shadows. And as discoveries emerge, could these ancient seals reveal a secret far older than Sumer itself, waiting to rewrite history entirely? Number 1. The numerical genius that outlived its creators. Among the many puzzles left behind by the ancient Sumerians, few are as striking or as influential as their extraordinary command of mathematics and language. While modern society relies on a base 10 system, the Sumerians built their world around base 60, a choice that still shapes our daily lives. Because of them, we count 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, and measure circles in 360 degrees. Even their descendants, the Babylonians, used this system to track the skies and measure months and years with remarkable precision. How such knowledge emerged in the early cities of Mesopotamia remains one of history's lingering questions. Their intellectual reach stretched far beyond numbers. Around 4,500 years before Christ, the Sumerians created one of the world's earliest written languages, a linguistic isolate with no proven connection to any known language group. Its script, cuneiform, began as simple drawings and rapidly transformed into a system of over 700 intricate signs. The speed of this evolution still confuses scholars, especially since the earliest surviving tablets already show remarkable skill. No one knows how such a complex writing system developed so swiftly. Even after the Sumerians themselves disappeared, their script endured for over 3,000 years, adopted by Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians. This lasting influence only deepens the mystery of its origin. Their brilliance also touched the earth itself. Through advanced irrigation systems, carefully planned canals, dikes, and water channels, the Sumerians transformed the land between the Tigris and Euphrates into fields capable of feeding large cities. Their methods were so advanced, so precise, that historians still struggle to explain how such early communities mastered techniques far beyond their era. Together, these achievements form a puzzle that grows more fascinating the deeper we look, a legacy of intellect that refuses to fade, and a reminder that the first civilization may still hold secrets we have yet to understand. So what do you think? Did the Sumerians vanish because of war, lost knowledge, or something far stranger? We'd love to hear your theories in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.